a 22mm socket, we'll go ahead and remove the lug nuts. And once the lugs are removed, we'll go ahead and remove the wheel. So what we do is we went ahead and turned the key to the on position. We're going to go ahead and rotate this here. And the reason for putting the key on is that it prevents that steering wheel from going into that lock position. Once we have this wheel turned out, we'll have better access to our components. We're going to go ahead and start by loosening this jam nut using a 15mm wrench on the inner tie rod and that 24mm here on the jam nut. We want to go ahead and loosen this. We just want to go ahead and loosen this nut, the jam nut. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen this outer tie rod nut. Just thread that on a couple threads there. Now I'm going to go ahead and lightly tap the ball joint stud up top here. Once that's loose, go ahead and remove the nut. Now what we want to do is we're going to start to rotate this outer tie rod off counterclockwise, counting the revolutions it takes to get this removed from the inner tie rod. All right, 20 turns for this to completely come off. What I want to do is remove this jam nut here. Using a pair of pliers, I want to go ahead and remove this clamp from the boot. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this inner clamp off. You're going to have to replace it anyway, so it's okay to mess that up. We just used a punch and a hammer to pop that band off. Now we're going to try and work the inner boot off the rack like so. Slide that down. I'm going to go ahead and slide that over. Push that down. Line up the tube with the vent port. And try and work that boot back on. Just like so. Now what we're going to do is use a tie wrap here. Going to work that in. Just line up that strap. I'm going to go ahead and snug that up. I'm going to use a pair of pliers just to give that a little extra tug on that. Once that's tight, we're going to go ahead and just snip off the excess. Go ahead and install the outer clamp. And we did put some NECs on the threads here. We're going to go ahead and spin that jam nut down. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and thread the outer tie rod back on. We counted 20 turns taking it off. It's going to be 20 turns back on. Take the supplied nut and thread that on. Using a 22mm socket, I want to go ahead and snug down this bolt or the nut. We're now going to go ahead and torque the outer tie rod nut to 55 foot-pounds. Now you want to go ahead and, if you have the ability, torque the jam nut to 37 foot-pounds. Using a 24mm wrench, we're going to go ahead and grab the outer tie rod, and we just want to put this in its neutral position. We don't want it twisted one way or the other. Put it right in the middle. You can go ahead and install your wheel. Get a lug nut started by hand. Then we'll go ahead and snug these down. We're now going to go ahead and torque the wheels to 135 foot-pounds.